Warning, this podcast contains heavy spoilers for not just one movie, but entire franchises. We highly recommend going and watching these movies before listening to us as a companion piece that stitches all the timelines into one creepy, crime-ridden story. There will be no more spoiler warnings. We do not break character. After this, there is no turning back. You've been warned. Hit the music.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's
alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hello and welcome to It's Alive podcast. This is a true crime, paranormal, interstellar podcast covering unbelievable stories that sound like they're ripped straight from the pages of a Hollywood script. I'm your host, the outlaw Dr. H.R. Smokenstein THC, and with me as always is my very own Scream Queen, the perfect combination of beauty and brains, the bride of Smokenstein, the India Heart, the expert, the guts and gore, the gorgeous, the sexy Aimee Rose.
Hi.
So we are a little bit late with this one, but we've been prepping for Christmas, getting more episodes recorded. And it's been a stressful week.
We got it.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're doing okay. I'm looking forward to the story, though. I mean,
story.
Anything with the word pornstar, and it's going to be fun.
Of course.
The Texas Pornstar Massacre. Now, that's a movie I want to see. I bet you that movie exists.
You know it exists. 2 seconds.
Bet you there's a fucking has to. You're only gonna get fucking articles about this whole fucking massacre, so it's not gonna work.
You'd be surprised. No, oh yeah.
we'll check later and we'll come back to it because we need to get on with this. We're late, Aimee. We're late.
Oh.
We need to hurry up.
Well, you're the one still talking.
Okay, all right, get us into it. Let's get started. Let's go,
Okay.
let's go. Pearl Douglas, part 2.
Last week we left the story of Pearl Douglas on something of a downer, and that's putting it mildly. Pearl had killed her parents, the poor town projectionist, being rejected by the church dance group, and then topped the whole thing off by hacking her sister-in-law to pieces with an axe.
Sounds like to me like an overachiever.
Absolutely.
Definitely in the serial killer game anyway. Some people cope with disappointment by journaling and shit, but Pearl chooses axe-based conflict resolution, which I'm all for.
But believe it or not, Pearl claimed she'd learned from her mistakes. She vowed to be a better wife, a better farmer, to stop killing, and to finally let go of those glittering dreams of fame and fortune that had driven her straight into madness.
You know how many serial killers I have heard, I have read, not heard, I don't know them personally, but I've heard in documentaries or read in books where they say it's like, I promised myself I wouldn't kill again. You know, it's like a phase they go through, but always a healthy milestone in any marriage where you promise your significant other. I swear it was a
I'm not going to kill. Yep. And it was just in time too, because Howard came home safe and sound from the war.
Fresh uniform, fresh trauma, and a brand new wife who may or may not have fed the fucking neighbors to the pet gator. Welcome home, soldier.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he set her straight again, right?
How do you set someone straight back? How do husbands set their wives straight back in the 1920s? So, assuming he got over the whole murdering his sister thing, I mean, couples therapy will take you so far.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get to the next chapter of Pearl's life, we need to talk about Howard Douglas and what he walked home with after World War I. Because Howard didn't just return with a uniform and a duffel bag, he came home carrying the whole rotten weight of the trenches. The mud, the mustard gas, the screams at night, the kind of horrors that carved permanent trenches into a man's mind long after the war ended.
Well, like they do say, right, that, and I was listening to this, reading about this, that like partially why Hitler was so successful early on with his early war campaigns or his early movements towards building an army. Because at that point, they weren't allowed to have a big army.
Yeah.
Right? 100,000 might have been their limit,
50,000.
There was a certain amount of soldiers the country was allowed to have, but it wasn't allowed to exceed that.
Yeah.
And he started, obviously, recruiting more and lining him up at certain areas where he, like, like on the border to France and on the border to where he wasn't supposed to. But the rest of the world were so fucking traumatized by the First World War. It was so fucking bad that they were willing to ignore what he was doing and just be like, let's not push this. We can't do this. We don't want to do this again. No. Because World War One was less tactical brilliance and more, what if we threw an entire generation into a meat grinder and hope the gears jammed? If Howard looked a little hollow when he stepped off the train, he had earned it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
he's got an excuse for some of the shit that he gets up about.
So when he saw Pearl waiting for him, smiling, trembling, doing her best to look like a picture-perfect farm wife, Howard was just happy to be home. He was happy to be alive. And when Pearl told him about her parents, they both decided to tell anyone who asked that they had succumbed to the Spanish flu. And Howard helped her cover it up without a second thought.
It's a great little excuse for him at the time, isn't it?
Spanish flu, yeah.
I mean, no one's going to question that.
No.
Because the father was already severely disabled due to the Spanish flu. And I'd assume it's like that fucking Monty Python fucking thing of bring out your dead, they want those bodies gone, buried as fast as fucking possible.
Oh yeah, but she was bringing out her dead to nobody, because if they looked at that, it was like, so how did she burn? I was the Spanish flu.
What I'm saying is nobody's going to be looking to do an autopsy on it.
Yeah.
And given what he'd seen in France as well, 2 dead parents who barely register a blip on his moral radar.
Yeah, and the projectionist, well, Pearl never brought him up because she didn't need to. The man was a drifter and nobody noticed that he was gone. But Howard did notice the man's car sitting half submerged in the lake, but he never asked. He never pressed, and he just filed it away with the other things he didn't want to admit about his wife. How do you know it was a man's car and that your wife was having an affair with the man who owned the car?
Probably didn't, but he knew she had done something.
Oh, it's in the lake.
There's a fucking car in the lake, which meant,
she drunk drove.
So there's a kind of denial you use to ignore dishes in the sink, and then there's my wife might have killed a man and dumped his car in the lake. Howard was operating on an advanced level here. That's why he knew, but
he didn't. Blinkers.
Yeah.
And when Pearl claimed that she had no idea what happened to Mitzi, that she hadn't seen her since auditions, and that the girl had been talking about heading west for Hollywood, Howard nodded, listened, and didn't believe a word of it. He knew Pearl had killed his sister, and he knew that Theda the Gator had been fed well.
A silent agreement between them. He wouldn't ask, she wouldn't tell. A real marital foundation. That's how you do it, Aimee.
Exactly. Don't ask, don't tell. Pearl tried to explain it away to him, and I said that the fear for his safety, the Spanish flu, the whispers about her German heritage, all of it had pushed her into a genuine mental breakdown. And she was better now, she insisted. Whole again, ready to be the wife he deserved, and for a while she lived up to it. Howard and Pearl settled into something like married bliss during the years between the 2 great wars.
Saying that, she would have been delighted if they had sent her. Is this not still around the time where they were just throwing dildos at women who were having mental breakdowns?
It would depend on the type of mental breakdowns. Like if it was womanly hysteria, which was, I think, kind of meant depression, they would massage.
Literally, you go to the doctor. I have a depression. Listen, go fuck yourself. Speaking of that, they did find something they had in common.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
pornography.
Yes. It's nothing says marital bliss like discovering a shared enthusiasm for early underground pornography.
Yep. And those art films Pearl had been introduced to by the projectionist, Howard had seen similar reels during the war, and soon enough the couple were watching them together. Howard would procure short reels from a shady comrade he kept in touch with, and Pearl, ever the performer, would reenact the scenes for him.
Healthy coping mechanisms for people without alligator pets.
And then World War II broke out, and once again Howard felt honour bound to fight. But this time he believed Pearl was in a better place, stable, capable, ready to run the farm on her own until he came home, and he thought she'd be safe.
He really shouldn't have thought that. I mean, why did he think the woman he left alone with 2 parents and then came back and the 2 parents were dead would be fine now on her? And her excuse was, well, I felt alone, claustrophobic. Everybody was looking at me funny because of my German heritage. I was trapped here. And it's going to get better this time now that she's here.
Still Germany, yeah.
And now the Germans are worse than they were the first time.
Yep. Pretty much.
and you think this is all going to reflect well on her and then help her out. Bad decision, Howard.
Wishful thinking. And when Howard shipped out for World War II in 1939, Pearl found herself alone on the farm again, just like the first time. But this time, Howard sent her something from Europe. A camera stolen from a war journalist. And on it, a note in his handwriting.
You know what to do with this. I look forward to your next letter. Nothing like a little battlefield larceny to spice up the marriage.
From what locals whispered later, the camera became the start of a new hobby for Pearl. She began advertising the farm as a guest house, a little cabin for rent, cash only, no questions asked. When a man passed through and took the room, Pearl would seduce him and photograph the encounter and then send the pictures to Howard overseas.
I stick by it. If Pearl was around now, she would be
Make fucking killing.
She'd be Bonnie Blue.
Bonnie Blue got arrested this week in Bali.
Yep, see? Bonnie Blue. And Howard discovered he had a taste he did not know he had. Some soldiers collect medals, some send home letters. Howard wanted photographic updates of his wife with strangers. War changes people.
Mm-hmm. Howard returned in 1943, injured, limping, and unable to do much physically during his recovery. For the next few years, almost nothing is known about what went on inside that farmhouse, but whatever it was, the couple kept it quiet. And then for decades, they simply slipped beneath the surface and under the radar, unnoticed, unquestioned.
Well, mostly unnoticed. The problem here is, from the 40s to the late 70s, you've got more than one house of horrors operating in rural Texas.
Exactly. At the same time, Pearl and Howard were quietly selecting drifters and travellers for Theta's meals. The Sawyer family, yes, that Sawyer family, were on their own rampage. A cannibalistic clan roaming the plains, collecting human beings for dinner.
And what's great is, we've covered the Sawyers in the past, right? In our first year of doing this. So the recording doesn't sound as good. And that was back when I was doing more than narrating. And we were kind of, we were still finding our way.
Yeah.
And I found out more information about them. So I will give you a little thing to look forward to. In the new year, this is going to be one of my first topics. We are going to redo the Sawyers and give them another go around and with some more details put in there and follow through, because
exciting.
Having two active killing enterprises in the same region, it's just more interesting now that you know that this is going on at the same fucking time. The Douglases are feeding victims to Theta, the alligator. The Sawyers are feeding victims to themselves. And it made it nearly impossible for investigators to tell which missing person belonged to which nightmare. Mm-hmm. Most of it will be blamed on the Sawyers. Because as we are going to find out when we cover them again in the new year, there are a lot of fucking Sawyers, because when they weren't eating people, they were fucking like rabbits. Each other.
Procreating each other. Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense too.
Inbreeding and cannibalism. Great fucking mix for a story.
So only after the infamous 1979 massacre would partial truth come out. In the ruins of the Douglas farm, authorities recovered photographs, dozens of them. Old, worn, grainy evidence of Pearl's guest house encounters. From these, they were able to confirm at least 10 murders, but the photos suggest far more. Some estimates place their potential victim count anywhere between 50 and 100 over 60 years. Many images are too damaged to identify the faces, and some might be duplicates, some might be entirely new people. There's no way to know how many lives were swallowed by Theta, never to be found.
Yeah, it must be one fat fucking alligator. You know your operation is prolific when investigators have to use vibes body count.
As the years went on, their spree slowed. Howard developed serious heart issues, age, war trauma, a lifetime of adrenaline spikes, and too much excitement could kill him. And Pearl, who genuinely loved her husband in her own warped way, didn't push him. She held back and refused to tempt or tease the man who had given her everything. And the guest house saw fewer visitors.
But you do see this with a lot of serial killers. As they age, the ones that don't get caught early or during their actual career tend to age out. I mean, BTK slowed down until they started talking about him beginning of 2004, and he just felt the need. That guy was never going to fucking stay.
Well, at what point does it click with you that sooner or later I'm not going to be able to overpower these people?
That's it. Golden State Killer. That dude just stopped.
Yeah.
Full fucking stop.
Although he was big
Done.
enough, I'd say he could hold you down.
I don't know. I see his conflicting kind of views on that. They claim that he was fairly active and spry and able to move around the place for a 70-year-old man or a man in his 70s when they were watching him. But obviously, once he got caught and he was being wheeled in and out in a wheelchair every time he came to court. And so, but then again, maybe the shock of being caught and suddenly being in this situation aged him severely. Well, anyway, back to these two. When they did rent that cabin, well, like we said in our Bates Motel episodes, the guests check in, but they never check back out again. More bed and breakfast. If the bed is the one Pearl ties you to and breakfast is you for Tata.
Nice.
This continued for decades, a long, quiet run for a very messy couple, until 1979, when a group of aspiring pornographers rented the little guest house to shoot a film called The Farmer's Daughters.
Now, when we get to the events of 1979, there are two ways to tell this story. The way the police found it and the way Maxine Minx Miller survived it. So we're going to do both. A brief look at what investigators walked into that night and then what actually happened as Maxine told it herself.
A choose your own nightmare format. Very educational.
I love choose your own format.
we more look at the Maxine version here because it's a better format for the story.
Yeah.
But near the end, you'll kind of see that the police had absolutely no fucking idea what they were after walking.
Clueless. So, 1979. 5 years after the attack on Sally Hardesty, the legend of Leatherface was still fresh in the national consciousness. The Sawyer family was on the run, slipping through Texas like ghosts, and every missing person from Dallas to Amarillo got pinned on them. Which meant the Douglases, our quiet little two-person apocalypse down at Powder Keg Farm, slowed their hunting to a crawl. Better to let the cannibal clan take the heat while they stayed invisible.
Nothing helps a murderous couple blend in like a competing murderous family, stealing all the headlines.
But restraint has never been Pearl's strong trait. And when a man named Wayne Gilroy came looking to rent the cabin, the Douglases couldn't resist, even though at that exact moment they already had a body in the basement. A young farmhand named Stephen Ure. He tried to rob them and Howard caught him, and the two of them relapsed, for lack of a better term. They killed Stephen, and apparently the taste woke something up in them.
60 years of murder is like riding a bicycle. Some habits come back fast.
So when Wayne came calling, they took the booking. Easy prey, they thought, except Wayne was not travelling alone. He arrived with a full crew. There was Jackson Hole, porn actor and self-proclaimed sex symbol, Bobby Lynn Parker, a rising adult film star, Maxine Minx Miller, the youngest, newest face in the group, and R.J. Nichols, the cameraman, and Lorraine Day, his girlfriend turned reluctant on-set assistant. The Douglases had been expecting one man, and what they got was a fan full of ambitious pornographers planning to shoot a guerrilla film called The Farmer's Daughter on their property.
Which is one hell of a title when you're filming a porno on a farm belonging to two serial killers. Life has irony.
Sure does. And when the group pulled up, Wayne stepped out to handle the rental. He hadn't even knocked yet when Howard Douglas stormed out with a shotgun already raised. Howard didn't recognize him and he didn't remember the booking. Age, injury, stress, whatever the cause, Howard went straight to threatening him. And it wasn't until Wayne mentioned the cabin rental twice that something clicked. Howard lowered the gun eventually. But the extra people, the camera, the noise, he hated all of it.
Howard Douglas was a man who wanted three things: quiet, routine, and absolutely no witnesses.
He begrudgingly agreed to let them stay for extra cash, but he made the rules very clear. Stay out of his house, do not bother his wife, do not break anything, and stay where you belong. And lastly, he warned them more than once that Pearl wasn't well.
Understatement of the fucking century. Yeah. I wouldn't mind. They're thinking, oh, he doesn't want us to go up and bother his elderly wife in case we disturb her. And it's not. It's like, hey, you don't want to go up and disturb my elderly wife because she'll come down and disturb you. The crew thought it was just an irritable man with a shotgun, an old man with a shotgun, but they were stepping into a trap they didn't even know existed.
While Howard grumbled around the property and Pearl lurked somewhere unseen, the crew wasted no time getting to work on The Farmer's Daughter. First up was Jackson and Bobby Lynn shooting their scenes, with Wayne directing and RJ and Lorraine handling the tech. Business as usual, for them anyway.
Nothing spices up a rural afternoon like some enthusiastic adult cinema under the Texas sun. Sweaty sex, all right.
Depends on the type of sweaty sex. According to Maxine's later statement, she wasn't needed for that scene, so she wandered the property, took in the sights, stretched her legs a bit, and eventually she found herself down by the lake. And yes, it was that lake, the one where Theda the alligator lived. But Maxine had no idea she was swimming in the same water where dozens of victims had disappeared across the decades.
How old do alligators live to?
I'd say they have a long lifespan.
Because this one's got to be over fucking 60 years old at this point.
Yes. 30 to 50 years. So 30 to 50 years, I'd say you'd get an anomaly every now and again.
Especially if they have the right diet.
Yeah. Crocodiles, on the other hand, can live up to 70 years in the wild. But America don't have crocodiles, as far as I know.
This lady was having a casual dip in what was essentially the digestive waiting room of a serial killing reptile.
Mm-hmm. And after her swim, as she was getting dressed, Maxine noticed something. Someone was watching her, and it was Pearl. So Pearl had seen the crew unloading their van earlier from her bedroom window, and she'd seen the girls in their little shorts, seen the cameras, seen the youth and freedom that she never got to taste. And once Howard left for town to buy supplies, Pearl's curiosity got the better of her. She ventured out and Maxine followed her.
Classic victim mistake. See an elderly stranger staring at you from the tree line, following her home. That's like the worst. What's like? I assume you're thinking like, what's the worst that could happen? Elderly person, but I mean, it's not good if they're just peeping at you, especially if you're all nude getting out of the water and shit.
It's a bit odd.
Just stay away.
Maxine let herself into the farmhouse. There was no knocking, just walked straight in.
She seemed very bold.
Bold.
Maxine, like
It's fucking rude.
No, but I mean, not bold. She'll take what she wants, not wait to be given it. Yeah. And I think we'll see that a lot more next week than we do this.
Exactly. And in the farmhouse, she found Pearl, who greeted her not with rage, not with suspicion, but with lemonade. Maxine described it later as a strangely tender moment. Pearl talked about her dreams, how she'd once wanted to be a dancer, an actress, and someone big on the screen, things that Maxine herself was hungry for. The two bonded in a way that, in hindsight, feels eerie. It was almost intimate. Two women on opposite sides of the same dream. And they looked through old photos, snapshots of Pearl's youth life before everything went so wrong. Then Pearl heard it. Howard's truck crunching up the dirt road, and her reaction was instant. She grabbed Maxine, hurried to the back door, and hissed that Howard must never know that she'd been inside. Maxine slipped out, confused but unharmed, and headed back to the guest house to prepare for her first scene in the X-rated film.
It's weird, isn't it? If they had met at a different time, they probably would have been like the best of fucking friends.
I think Pearl was born in the wrong decade.
Yeah, definitely. So blissfully unaware that she had just sat drinking lemonade with one of the most prolific murderers in Texas history, but they could have been best friends.
Could have been besties for life. Later that evening, Maxine finally filmed her first scene with Jackson Hole. Lights, camera, sweat in the Texas heat, everything running smoothly. But partway through, Maxine glanced toward a tiny window in the cabin and saw Pearl watching. Not hiding, not embarrassed, just staring. And Maxine, being Maxine, didn't stop. She leaned into it and gave Pearl something to look at.
She essentially said, "Oh, you like the show? Here's the premium subscription. Bold choice." And I suppose little did she know that fucking Pearl had a bit of a liking for porno as it was.
Yes. What Maxine didn't realize is that this did hit Pearl hard. Seeing those young bodies, the confidence, the sexual freedom that she never had, it ignited something inside her. A twisted mix of longing, jealousy, and rage.
Because when she was doing what she was doing, it was controversial. I mean, if anyone had found the pictures she was taking to send to fucking Howard while he was abroad with other men, she would have been a pariah in the fucking parish, you know?
Absolutely, but come here to me. Like other people wouldn't do the same. Pearl stormed back to the farmhouse, slathered on makeup like she was going on stage, and tried to seduce Howard. But Howard, older, hurting, terrified of dying mid-thrust, refused. Told her he couldn't. Not with his heart the way it was.
Personally, it's my preference to go out that way. I mean,
I'll make a note of that.
Coming and going at the same time. Sounds like a fucking A-okay way for me to go. So for Pearl, though, it's probably sounded a lot more like, I don't want you. And she doesn't handle rejection.
No.
We know that from last week.
Meanwhile, something else was brewing in the guest house. Lorraine Day, quite reserved, previously very judgmental about the whole project, had been watching Jackson's earlier scenes, and then something changed in her. She wanted in. Much to the
sweat just making her wet anymore.
Much to the horror of her boyfriend RJ, Lorraine shot a full scene with Jackson Hole, and afterwards, RJ was devastated, humiliated, hurt, the kind of hurt that festers. Investigators believe that later that night, after everyone else was asleep, RJ packed up the van and prepared to leave alone, but he never made it off the property. Sometime between the cabin and the road, he crossed paths with Pearl.
Which is the Texas equivalent of stepping into traffic.
Here comes the truck.
But the only thing is, right, because I was reading a little bit more about this earlier on, and apparently, according to Maxine, when this discussion came up about Lorraine being in the movie, before she showed interest in being in the movie, RJ's attitude was, towards the other porn stars was, it's just a movie. The sex is it's just like, make believe. It's not a big fucking deal. But as soon as Lorraine wanted in, he was suddenly, what the fuck are you doing? That's dirty. You shouldn't be doing that. It's immoral.
Double standards.
Yeah. As long as it wasn't his missus, he didn't give a shit.
That made me want to do it more.
Obviously what happened in this case.
Yeah. So we don't know exactly how the encounter started. Maxine only heard a muffled scream, but when the police processed the scene even later, they found RJ's body near the woods. He had been stabbed repeatedly in the neck so violently and so many times that investigators considered it a form of decapitation.
Very similar to what O.J. Simpson did to Nicole Brown Simpson. And if you want to hear more about that, go check out Celebrity Rap Sheet on Patreon at the Harverse Network.
Good plug.
Got that in.
And the strangest detail of this all, forensic testing found biological evidence on RJ's clothing matching Pearl, which led investigators to a disturbing conclusion. Pearl didn't just kill him, she used him afterwards.
We do not believe OJ did that.
No. No.
Which makes Pearl slightly worse than OJ.
Yes.
Simpson, just slightly. So when your crime scene texts have to say the phrase post-mortem intimacy, you know you're dealing with someone deeply, deeply fucking unwell. And this is the first confirmed kill of that night. So this is only the beginning. We have a decapitation followed by, I don't know, dry humping the corpse.
I don't know, because I know that men die with a hard on if they're hanged, and I think drowned as well, but I don't know about stabbing because all the blood would be rushing out the hole in your neck.
That's true.
So I don't know how she did it, but there you go.
Oh, well, no, I read about this as well. It wasn't that they found it on his skin, they found it on his pants. They found vaginal fluid on his pants. That's why I said dry hump.
Oh, okay.
It was, some vaginal fluid.
Over the pants, dry humping.
Yeah. Yep.
So the noise, we assume, awoke Lorraine. You know how your brain kind of claws at the dark when something feels off? Well, that was her. She opens her eyes and RJ's side of the bed is empty. And immediately, as you would, she thinks it's her fault.
Well, considering what she had just done.
Yeah.
And guilt is a powerful fucking motivator, It makes people walk straight into danger believing they can fix something that's already broken. So she calls Wayne, drags him out of his warm little money-making dreams, and the two of them start wandering the property together looking for RJ.
Yeah. So Wayne heads to the barn, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the timeline gets ugly. Police think he heard rustling behind the backside wall and maybe thought RJ was hiding or sulking or just cooling off a bit.
Yeah. Instead of backing out like a sensible man, though, he leans in literally. And I mean, I'm sorry. If you're suspicious of anything,
I'm not putting my
anything
fucking eye to
that
the
something
hole.
is wrong in the area, you do not put anything. Two things you do not put in a fucking small hole when you think you're in danger.
Your penis or an eye.
Exactly.
Or your finger.
I can do without a finger. The other two are essentials. I got 9 more fingers.
That's a terrible way of looking at it, Josh.
And he got 1 penis and 2 eyes, lady. So he puts his eye up the tiny little peepholes, just trying to spot him and see if he's behind her, because he's not answering when he calls. Trying to find his missing cameraman. He's got a movie to shoot here.
And that's when someone on the other side drives a pitchfork clean through the peepholes, straight into Wayne's skull. Didn't even give time to scream. But yeah. So they found him the next morning still in nothing but his tighty-whities crumpled on that barn floor. Texas must be hot at night. Yeah. Imagine doing that here, running around your tighty-whities in Ireland at night.
During the summer, you might.
You might get away with it because it does kind of get chilly at night in the summer, but now you'd freeze.
But you know what fucks me up when I think about this is
the tighty-whities.
Like with the one peephole, you're not going to get a pitchfork through that. So this 80-year-old woman had to find the strength to drive this fucking pitchfork through wooden fucking slats to get in through.
How old is the barn and how
I suppose,
how well looked after it would be? That would be my thinking because she was quite an old woman, like
yeah. So again, this is like brutality. The brutality was practiced here. This was almost routine for her. It's like the exercise. It was like muscle memory. She knew what to fucking do. You know,
muscle memory from all those pitchforks through the skull.
Pitchforks through stuff we knew from last week that she had fucking a habit of killing fucking the animals around the place. You have to assume she was using the tools she found on the fucking farm to rip these things apart. This isn't someone improvising. This is someone who's done this shit before, like, you know?
Yeah. And meanwhile, Lorraine's making her own bad decisions. So she heads to the farmhouse thinking that RJ's hiding there instead, and that's where she meets Howard.
And he's the piece of the... He's the piece of the puzzle people kind of underestimate. The man's been living with Pearl's behavior for decades. Probably recognized the signs the moment he saw Lorraine standing there. It was like, oh, shit.
Oh, he knew.
Here we go. My heart can't take this fucking crap anymore. I'm too old for this shit, man.
He definitely knew, especially after what Pearl tried earlier that night. Howard clocked the situation immediately, and instead of warning Lorraine, he played along. Kind voice, shaky hands, frail old man act, and lured her down into that basement.
See, that just shows that he loved Pearl. He was like, I mightn't be able for it, but fuck it. She wants a bit of
that
fun.
That girl's definitely up for it.
She's young enough. She's able for it. So Pearl swings both ways, maybe. Or maybe, because he's not going to be able to do it.
No, he can't, or else he'll die.
And the second she steps inside that fucking basement, it's click, locked doors. That's it. You're trapped. You're stuck there.
That is a rookie mistake. If someone tells you to go down to the basement to have a look,
absolutely not.
They go first. If anybody's going down, the homeowner goes first.
But what if he's all like, oh,
well, I wouldn't
old
go down.
age, I can't make it down there and back up. I haven't been down there in ages, but I know this is the lights are down there, or the flashlights are down there. Could you go down and get them?
I have 2 fake legs that are prosthetics from the hips down. I can't bend my knees, so I'm not going to be able to get down that stairs, man.
I'd be like, I eat shitloads of carrots, man. I could see in the dark. Don't worry about it.
You're fine. I'll be like, sorry, let me go out to my car. I'll get my flashlight and then I'll get into my car and drive the fuck out of there.
That's why we're lucky in modern day. We can just be like, it's all right, got my phone.
Shit.
We're good.
Yeah. So that's when Lorraine sees him. The body of Stephen Ure rotting down there like a discarded secret. And then suddenly she realizes RJ isn't missing. They all are.
But the thing is, she realizes I suppose sexual tone of it. When police found Stephen Ure, it was on one of those, those X-frame fucking hanging like that kind of, and
bondagey.
Yes. So once Howard gets Lorraine locked away, the whole tone shifts. It's like something settles over him, a decision. He knows now at this point nobody leaves the farm alive. Not after what Pearl started. I mean, you'd have to be thinking, I'm on a 60-year run here. We ain't gonna let it fucking slip at the last minute. So
kind of true love in a really warped fucking way. He just supports her with everything.
Love you to death. Not our death, but everybody else's
death. So Pearl, of course, had her own ideas. She tells him plain as day she wants to keep Maxine. Keep her. Not save her, not spare her. Keep her for fun. The way she said it makes every hair stand up on your body.
Yeah, if a serial killer, that's why I always say when you look at guys like fucking, we cover Michael Myers before. We cover, we've talked eventually about covering Jason Voorhees and his crazy mother. But those guys like to get the job done quick. And if a serial killer like that's going to come after me, I would prefer to be chased down by a product killer than a process killer.
Well, yeah, because it's going to be quick.
Yeah. They just want to get the job done and play with your
I don't want to be chased down by either of them, but if I had
But
to
if
choose,
and everyone else that wasn't, so Maxine's being basically chased down by. She is. It's funny because they work in both ways here. When they're looking at Maxine, they're product killers.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is a process killing, and even then, they're just in the way as well. So these people are product killers, definitely. They're not doing it for the fun of killing. They're doing it because they want the body. They're doing.
It's a hard call. It's a mix.
Some people can be a mix, and these two just.
Did we say it was a mix lately? We were looking at somebody, and we said that person was definitely Bundy. Bundy was a mix.
Or because he enjoyed killing, and
he also took part in necrophilia.
So everyone else that wasn't Maxine, they would go to Teda, according to Pearl at least. Like Tada's some sort of fucking disposal system.
Like flushing your goldfish down the loo.
The thing you feed, and it turns out she just feeds the bodies and they're gone. It's a good way of getting rid of evidence.
It is. It would be better if she had pigs on the farm. Pigs eat everything.
Yeah, but their poop lands in the fucking ground right in front of you where they can be analysed. Well, obviously not in the 70s, but these days, I'm sure CSI could come in and fucking just analyse the pig shit and be like, fucking...
I don't know that.
There is human DNA in this poop.
There is a tooth.
Whereas at least while the crocodile is swimming around the place or the gator is swimming around the place,
nobody wants to go near it.
You got to go looking in the water to find that fucking poop. You know?
Wonder where they poop. On land or in the lake. I've never thought of this. Yeah, maybe.
You know, like most other animals.
I've never thought of that. Where do alligators? But I'm not Googling that either. So Howard starts moving fast and he calls to the cabin, speaking to Jackson Hole, spinning his shaky little story about Pearl wandering off into the swampy backwoods, mind slipping again and needing help searching.
Hole has to be a stage name.
No way. I was wondering that, but why would, as a man, would you use Hole?
Yeah.
Why not Jackson Rod?
Jackson Phil's Holes or Jackson Philip Hole.
Philip Hole?
Because you could be Jackson Phil Hole. Got it.
Nice.
I'm going to start a new porn consulting business where I will give you your porno name based off of your name.
What's your porno name?
Dr.
Do good.
Trying to work out something with smoking Steen. Isn't
Dr. Smoke Your Steen?
What's your Steen, though?
I don't know.
Anyway, Jackson was an ex-Marine, discipline carved into the bone.
Mm-hmm.
You tell a man like that an elderly woman is lost in a swampy, watery area, he will not hesitate. Boots on, flashlight in hand, following Howard into the tree line. This man was a good guy.
A nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted to help straight away.
And that's all Howard needed. So just enough distance from the cabin, just enough cover from the trees. And as soon as they were out of sight, he didn't even pretend to search.
One shot close range. Jackson Hole dropped before he even realised he'd walked into a trap. What's chilling is how quiet Howard was about it afterwards, almost methodic.
Yep.
So again, we can see that these two are well practiced.
Definitely. But that blast, it carried. And Bobby Lynn heard it all the way from the cabin. She thinks someone's hurt, so she heads down toward the lake, that narrow dock walkway curving out over the water.
Yeah, down to Teda.
Yeah.
And that's where she sees Pearl completely naked, ready for her close-up. Standing on the dock like she's just been there waiting for somebody.
Bobby's first instinct is kindness, and that's exactly what kills her. She rushes forward, trying to wrap something around this frail, shivering woman, but Pearl wasn't frail. She wasn't scared.
Nope, she was bait.
Yep. Pearl shoves her straight into the lake without a word, and Theda is already there, hungry and fast. And they only ever recovered pieces of Bobby then, pulled from the water near that small wooden dock like the lake itself spit out what was left. Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is Pearl watched. Like feeding time was entertainment. And there's still one survivor on the property. They haven't even gone looking for yet.
Mm-hmm. Maxine was starting to notice a pattern. Friends missing, co-workers vanishing, and something about the air on the property felt heavier. It felt wrong. But before she could even think about leaving the cabin to check on anyone, she heard them. Howard and Pearl approaching. Their voices carried through the thin walls, casual and almost domestic, yet terrifying. They were talking about her, about catching her and taking her down to the basement dungeon.
Imagine that moment where you hear your potential killers plotting your capture in the next room and your body decides, hiding under the bed is a genius move.
Which is exactly what Maxine did. And she crawled under a bed in one of the guest rooms and stayed as still as she could.
It's like regression into childhood, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Hide under the fucking quilt, it won't get me.
Absolutely. So every creak of the floorboard and every shuffle of shoes made her heart pound in her ears. I can hear that. I don't like it.
Yeah. And these aren't spry young fucking people either. These two, they're fucking power. You hear them coming. You can hear them lumbering down. That fucking thing. Howard's old. Pearl's unpredictable. But their size doesn't matter. Fear makes you small. Makes you invisible. And she became just that, invisible.
Yep. Not finding her immediately, Howard and Pearl shift their conversation. Domestic, even intimate in the most twisted way. They start talking about their sex life or lack of one, and then the years of restraint of controlling her desires because of Howard's heart. Pearl starts coaxing. We'll go slow, she says. Stop if it hurts. She's persuasive, she's manipulative, and she plays the role of the loving wife to perfection.
Maxine, she's lying there directly under the mattress listening to this elderly couple carrying out whatever the hell they were calling intimacy.
Eventually, the opportunity came. Howard and Pearl were caught up in each other, distracted, unaware that Maxine was inches below them. She waited, breath held, timing every tiny movement, and then slowly, carefully, inch by inch, Maxine crawled out from under the bed, out of the room, out of sight.
I have two schools of thought here, right? There's one side where they obviously haven't had sex in a very long time. So does that limit Maxine's time because Howard could,
prematurely ejaculate?
Yeah. But there's the other side of the coin too. Howard's old.
If he gets a heart attack and pins her on top.
No, how long will it take him to go to full mast so that he can actually take care of business? So does that buy her time?
Would he wait till you can hear the thrusting, I would assume?
Well, that's the moment she probably realised survival isn't about running fast. It's about being patient, invisible, and insanely fucking lucky. Yep.
And Maxine finally made her move. She sprinted to the van, heart pounding, adrenaline coursing through her veins, and she realised she'd one critical problem. The keys weren't there.
Classic spree murder dilemma.
No keys.
You've got the getaway vehicle and no ignition.
Yep.
Cue panic mode.
Before she could even think about it, she heard Lorraine screaming from inside the farmhouse, and hope surged. Maybe her friend could help her find the keys. So Maxine rushed in and found Lorraine at the basement door. At least Maxine thought, but it wasn't so simple. Lorraine had tried to pry the lock open, even breaking a hole in the door, but Howard had caught her in the act and smashed her fingers, so she couldn't free herself.
Brutal reminder on this farm, curiosity doesn't just kill the cat, it'll also incapacitate you until you can get back to it.
Maxine tried to open the basement and tell Lorraine to help her search for the keys, but Lorraine didn't listen. She bolted right out the door, and that's when Howard saw her. He raised his gun and fired, and the young girl, well, she never had a chance.
Yeah, in a flash just like that, her young life was gone. Brutal efficiency. But the universe, as it often does, had a twist ready.
Howard tried moving Lorraine's body back inside the house, and that's when it happened. Pain, sharp and unforgiving in his chest. His worst fear was realised. Years of adrenaline, sex and murder had finally caught up with him. The old war wounds, the heart strain, it was too much. He keeled over. Dead. That's got to be a bit kind of disappointing. You survived the sex, but you couldn't move the body.
Yeah. Finally, I can have sex again.
Yes. He had it like coming. He killed a girl.
He definitely made something coming. And just like that, the patriarch was gone. Poetic in the most horrifying way possible.
Pearl began screaming, wailing, panic in her voice.
And then they shot.
But Maxine, sensing her chance, grabbed a gun she found in Wayne's van. A desperate shot at Pearl. Nothing. The gun was unloaded. And Pearl, frail, I can imagine her heart sink. Oh, fuck, giving the game away. Now I've got on to defend myself. But Pearl, frail, now old but still deadly, saw her opening and she snatched Howard's shotgun and fired. She missed Maxine, and the kickback sent Pearl flying off the porch. Her frail body went sprawling, shotgun in hand, barely managing to stay conscious.
I'll be honest with you. I think if I saw that happen, I would laugh very fucking hard.
Laugh my bloody backside off.
Time I think about it, it's fucking hilarious. I mean, frail. She's old and frail as well. If that gun fucking didn't shoot, if I was Maxine, that gun didn't shoot,
I'd throw the gun at her.
I wouldn't my ass. I'd turn it around and I'd just jump at fucking Pearl and start pistol whipping the shit out of her.
Oh yeah, with
I mean, that old lady ain't going to be fast enough. I'd be boom, 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 hammering it on her head.
You could just knock her out and do it.
But she does get to it. She does take care of that head eventually.
She does.
So, frail in her 80s, recoiled from a shotgun blast. It wasn't deadly, but, you know, it knocked her on her ass and knocked her out for a few minutes.
Did. So, meanwhile, Maxine finally found the van keys and checked pockets. Sure enough, Howard had been carrying them. And she started the engine, but before making her escape, she did something that she'd be building towards. Revenge. Backing up at full speed, she ran straight over Pearl Douglas's head.
A satisfying end to one of the most twisted, relentless villains in Texas history.
Mm-hmm.
At least until maybe the second or third week of January when we talk about another set of twisted, relentless villains in Texas history. These are the second most twisted, relentless villains in Texas history.
Maxine didn't look back. She drove off that property, that nightmare, that farm, and made sure this wouldn't be her story. The next morning, police arrived at Powder Keg Farm.
Unless you look at like how many Sawyers there are to how many Douglases there are, technically then maybe the Douglases outrank them because there is a lot more Sawyers that could do a lot more damage.
Yeah.
Douglases did a lot of damage on their own as two people. Sorry, I got in your way there.
Okay.
Keep going. I was doing some murder mat in my head.
So when the police got there, that's when the full scope of 60 years of violence hit them. But as shocking as the scene was, the questions remained. Who killed whom? Who survived? And who or what had escaped?
Because when you're dealing with bodies, missing with bodies that are there, missing bodies, and an alligator that eats people, piecing together a timeline is tricky to say the least.
The working theory at the time was messy. So Lorraine Day had somehow killed Pearl, maybe in self-defense or revenge. Howard, enraged or panicked, killed Lorraine. And then finally, Howard succumbed to a heart attack, unable to handle the stress of the massacre he had helped orchestrate.
Except then, where was the van? Tire marks clearly indicated someone left the property. And what about the other actor? The one captured on the video by the pornographies. Did she escape? Did she survive? Did she kill the Douglases? Or was she a meal for Tata?
Yep. But remember, this is 1979. DNA evidence, CSI-style forensics, forget about it. Everything had to be reconstructed from witness statements, physical clues, and educated guesses.
And it's hard to have witness statements when everybody's dead.
Ask the alligator. Hey, Tata.
And let's not forget, the Sawyer clan are still on the loose. Law enforcement had more than one human horror show to track.
Sure did.
And with the main offenders on the Powder Keg Farm dead, authorities simply wrapped up the case and moved the fuck on.
It wouldn't be until 1985 that the true story started to emerge. Maxine Minx Miller, now pursued by her super Christian father and his cult, finally revealed the reality of what happened on that farm.
And that, folks, is where our story picks up next week when we're diving into Ernest Miller and the Eternal Purity Fellowship, a cult, a porn star trying to break into the mainstream, and a serial killer by the name of Richard fucking the Night Stalker Ramirez running loose in the background. The fact that the story is going to have Richie Ramirez in the background will tell you how fucking crazy the forefront story is going to be.
Yep. So it's going to be a jam-packed episode, so make sure you come back. You do not want to miss the conclusion to this wild, twisted, and terrifying tale.
Mother of fucking gods, it is crazy. It just doesn't stop. And I mean, again, I don't want people to think that we're just ragging on fucking Christians. This particular cult are fucking, they're on the level of Jim Jones and fucking...
absolutely.
What's his name? Apple White.
Apple
Gate, Apple White,
Apple tree? Apple seed?
Fucking, he was a
Who's Johnny
fruitcake no matter
Appleseed?
what. What you say, okay? Either way, we'll be back next week with all that. So that's kind of like its own story, but a part three at the same fucking time. It's weird, you know?
Maxine's story. Oh, yeah.
Is kind of over now. The only real kind of consequence here for the Douglases next week is the fact that Maxine has managed to keep it quiet. or her involvement at least.
Yeah.
But we find out that her father had been keeping tabs on her for a very, very long time, and he knew everything. So once, similar to the Epstein files, once the Douglas files get out there, Maxine's got some splaining to do.
Sure does.
But we'll get to that next week.
Yes. If
Um,
you want more horror and crime fun, then head on over to patreon.com/the Horrorverse Network and check out our bonus show. It's a live action because tomorrow we'll be dropping our bonus show episodes.
yes. What do we have next? What do we have?
Christmas. No, it's not Christmas crimes.
This week it is. Is it the Final Girls this
It's
week,
the
or is that
Final
next week?
Girls.
I don't know. Get the
It's a
subscription.
surprise.
Find out. We're recording like fucking 20 fucking shows here this week. We've lost track of which ones turn up when. You're just gonna have to log on and find out. But it's gonna be funny right away. Over the next few weeks on It's a Live Action, we have we definitely did Aileen Wuornos. So this week it's
Amelia
serial
Dyer.
killers. This week it's female serial killers. We've
We
got
talk
top 5
about-
serial
yeah.
killers. Next week we're going to talk about the final girl trope in horror movies. Then we got Christmas crimes. Then we got Christmas horror movies. Then we got 2025 year in review of horror movies.
Yeah.
Then we got ones to watch in 2026 the week after.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a packed fucking schedule for
Sure
It's a
is.
Live Action. Then when it comes to Playing with Bones and Celebrity Rap Sheet, if you've never heard those new shows that we released this year, season 1. So what we do is Aimee will do Playing with Bones for 4 weeks. Then I do Celebrity Rap Sheet for 4 weeks. So that's season 1. And then she'll do season 2, season 2, season 3,
Yep.
season 3. So what we're doing as a Christmas gift to everyone who listens, we are going to give you season 1 of Playing with Bones and season 1 of Celebrity Rap Sheet for free, releasing 1 a week over the next 8 weeks for you to check out while we prepare the scripts for the next year of Celebrity Rap Sheet and Playing with Bones. We also have your awesome photo dumps that go on Patreon every week with all your cool cosplay and the pictures she tells me I'm not allowed to post on Instagram.
No, Instagram. Tell us we're not allowed to post on Instagram.
Some of
And
them.
TikTok. Forget about TikTok.
TikTok. We've been banned from there once. For nothing, really, to be honest with you.
What was it?
It fucking... This
They
fucking
have
pisses me
AI
off, to be
moderation
honest
over
with
there.
you.
Yeah.
Because one minute I'll click on TikTok and the first thing that'll be there will be some girl twerking in my fucking face. And I'll be like... and then we put up a fucking cosplay picture of you and it's like, you have violated or
I just
sexual...
broke the internet.
Like, fuck, what? What?
No, do you know what it was as well? One day I was fully, as in like, it wasn't even like a bikini shot or anything like that. Is my hand was here on my thigh in whatever pose I was. Do you remember that? And they wouldn't let it put it up because their AI moderation had taken it that maybe my hand was
Slipping a little too far.
exactly. But it was a very like, it was an everyday picture. Like I just happened to have my hand like kind of on my hip, whatever kind of pose I was in, and I'm full sure that's the reason that they took it down, because it wasn't sexual in any other way, and it's very flimsy even calling that sexual because it wasn't. I just had my hand just resting too close there.
Well, that's the thing. Your pictures are never sexually posed. They just have a lot of flesh in them.
I think the Chinese are very sexually closeted in that way.
Yeah, they'd lose their life over 1 or 2 of those Christmas pictures that are coming up in the next week or 2. But you're going to have to fucking pay for the subscription to see that. Yeah, caught you there. At $5 a month, 7-day free trial at the Horrorverse Network on Patreon. And we got more stuff planned coming into the new year. Hopefully we will start some watch alongs,
Fingers crossed.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
A little bit more of that, because I'm dying to do that. I know I'm getting a little projector for Christmas, so we can do something fucking cool with that.
Nice.
You can follow us on socials at It's Alive Alive Pod or at Alive Alive Pod. Never mind, it's just at Alive Alive Pod and at Aimee Rose IAA. We'll be back next week with more tales from the Horrorverse. See you all then. Hopefully at the same Alive Alive time, but definitely at the same Horrorverse channel.
And at the same Alive place. Didn't you say that? Same Alive time, same Alive, or is that Batman? Bat time, Bat place. Sorry, I'm getting you confused with Batman.
And no, Batman is same Bat time. Same
That's
Bat
what I
channel.
said. Oh, I thought, so who says Bat place?
Nobody.
Did you not say Alive Alive Place one
No.
time?
Same Alive Lifetime, same Horrorverse channel.
Okay, cool.
Stole it from Batman, Amy. Thanks. No Adam West. Oh, he said it. Yo, come on. James Gunn is going to come after me for copyright issues. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Sounded like you panicked in the last line. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
I'm still recording. They can hear you. Fuck you, James Gunn. Try it.